Hey guys, it's DudeMan, and officially it's the DudeMan Show, Appalachian Trail 2020. Got over 100 subscribers, which is really, really cool. And so I have my own URL and whatever that is. But here we are, DudeMan Show, and this is Donut. And,
Donuts!
Yeah. Donut is a guy that I met at Appalachian Trail Kickoff Festival, and we stayed at the tent city a couple days in a row. And it was so cool.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah, we got to meet veteran hikers that been on the trail, people that did come through, that do trail magic and stuff like that. And it's just a really bunch of cool people. They taught me a lot, and just taught me a lot of different techniques, and just kind of helped us understand what is expected on the trail and what kind of things that make you feel better. And after talking to him, I dropped some stuff, and I just felt like I got a better experience upon it, and just kind of got to meet some of the new people, something like that, like Donut. Donut was there for.
I brought donuts.
Yeah, some veteran hiker came up to him and said, "Hey, what's your trail name?" "Oh, I don't have one." So he told him, "You're Donuts now," and that's the way it happens sometimes. And he figured that some other names could have been worse. And
He's proposed a couple.
Yeah, I have. We're not going to that right now.
Do that.
But anyhow, it was so funny that Donuts left the tent city, had to go get some other stuff for supplies for his backpack so he'd be ready to hit the trail on Sunday like I did. And when he came back 3 dozen donuts. Everybody loved that. So it just turned out really well for him. Well, we've had a couple really crappy days, really bad days of hiking. It was tough. Lots of rain and slippery surfaces, and
it always seems to pour when you're going up the steepest part of the mountain.
Yeah,
that's when it starts to really go.
Yeah, and it seems like one side of the mountain's worse than the other. At one side you got that blowing, misty rain on you, or you got droplets, but just the wind and the fog come together, and it just makes it really rough hiking. Now, let's do a real quick summary. So I did 2 days, had a 0 day at Gooch Mountain Shelter.
That was great.
And that's where we hung out, had a 0 day today. He had hiked from Devil's Kitchen and met me there, so he cheated. Well, no, he didn't cheat. But he didn't do the approach trail, so I had to do the approach trail, which is 8 more miles. Not part of the trail. So he got to ride up to Springer Mountain and went from there. So anyhow, he did that, and then so he got to kind of head me. So we ended up at Gooch Mountain together because I passed him when he was setting up at Devil's Kitchen, which is just a camping site. And he didn't. He got to there. I got to the shelter. And there was no space in the shelter, and hardly any space in the tent site. I mean, I was about ready to cry. It was one of those days, heavy pack, and it was a rainy day again.
They fill up so fast. There's so much crowding on the trail.
Shelters get quick. But I'd had another couple days, so I stayed Stover after the first 2 days, and then I went to went on to Gooch on the second day of hiking. And that's where we met up again and did a 0 day. Got to meet Darwin, and that was really cool. So then we did 2 more days, and we ended up seeing each other again because we ended up at Unicoi Gap shoulder. Man, that was so stinking cool. Got to hear barred owls all night long. There's only 4 of us in a 6-person shelter. And there was only one.
It's like 2 miles off the trail.
Yeah,
it
2 miles
says
off the
1.2, but it feels like 50.
Yeah, it was downhill, so it was tough. So we had to come back out of there and hike. And we ended up at. I was going to stop at Deep Gap, but ended up going a mile from Blue Mountain Shelter.
Yeah,
Blue Mountain Shelter, and that was a real tough hike all that day. What would you say? It was 11 miles that day?
It was a tough hike.
Yeah, it was a tough hike that day.
Especially because we thought we could get to this hostel for most of it.
Yeah, we tried to call a hostel up, and oh man, I'm not even going to say their name, but
there's a way to walk there off the trail, and the person working there doesn't know the directions
from the trail
there.
Yeah, and so and then the stuff that they described on the good hooks, oh, this is what we have available. None of that was available. They did have Wi-Fi, they did have a hot shower, but some of the comments from some people that had just stayed last year, they said the place was dirty. Well, we live in really dirty conditions being in the shelters anyhow. That wouldn't matter a lot. But it's just they just had good accurate information. So we stayed a mile from the shelter, and we just couldn't have pushed on if we wanted to. We got there about 6 o'clock, and then the sunsets around 7:30, and it was just so miserable conditions and stuff like that. So it's just kind of rough. So we did a four today or something.
4.5 or 5. I think
4.5, 5, and went down into the Unicoi Gap. I had arranged for a shuttle to bring us into Helen, and you'll see some pictures on Helen that I have after this video here. Beautiful little town, a German town up in the northeast corner. Oh yeah, beautiful place. Northeast corner of Georgia, and it was had different restaurants and grocery stores and a lot of different places to walk around. Very easy walking distance to get everything in it. Beautiful town. If you ever get a chance just to come visit, and you got mountains all around.
I'm coming back here after I'm done on the trail.
Yeah.
Spend a week.
By the way, Donuts had other careers in life, but he came on the trail, sold his house, and has done other things in his life, and he's pretty much a homeless person because he has nothing to go back to.
I'm homeless.
Yeah, but seriously though, he did do all that to have the financial means to be able to hike the trail and go into law school. He's had some generous offers from a couple of different colleges and hopes to go into law school, maybe corporate law. So it's kind of cool. Very smart guy. And to be in theater, and just found out just a few moments ago he writes his own plays.
You're making me blush.
So he's done real good. So we're going to talk real quickly with Donuts. Donuts going to tell you about his worst moment on the trail so far.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'm going to have an even worse one coming up. But I was hiking with this just incredible, amazing group of people. I couldn't really quite keep pace with them. And we went up Blood Mountain together. And Blood Mountain's kind of the first really steep climb on the real trail, unlike your approach trail. And it was pouring rain. It was such a miserable climb up, and I was lagging. Like they were being great. They were waiting like 20 minutes for me at each stop. I was lagging behind them. We finally made it up the mountain, and there's a shelter, quote unquote, on top of the mountain. It
made of all rock.
Yeah.
It's an all rock shelter, but it's described as being very dank and drafty and wet.
No windows, no
just
door.
dark shelter.
And I sat down.
I posted a picture of it already.
Yeah.
If you look on the YouTube page.
I sat down in a puddle when I was taking my break, and I was like, "It's not going to get any worse than this." I started shivering, but then I just got this kind of high, and when I started going down the mountain, I broke ahead of everyone, and I was having to wait up for them to catch up to me, and I was just so happy. And when we got to Neil's Gap, we were just like cheering. It was so amazing. It's just like one of those big days in my life where I had this like huge low and this huge high in the same day.
Neil's Gap typically is a place where people give up because Blood Mountain will hurt you, and it just makes you just want to quit. And you've seen the pictures that I showed already of all the shoes up in the trees, and just a lot of people. I mean, it's been 30 miles of agony and part of it, and especially starting in March, it seems like the Appalachian Wedge kind of forms around this area, and a lot of weather is coming out of the Gulf, is sweeping around the end mountains of Georgia, and it's coming up towards the Carolinas. It is some rough, rugged conditions. It most certainly is. Hey, let's talk a little bit about gear. I'll tell you at the future time of my worst moment. Well, I just kind of mentioned the worst moment when I showed up in Gooch Mountain Shelter, and that night I was wanting to place in the shelter, and it was completely full. It was a 12-person shelter, completely full, and all the tent sites. And I came in there with a very, very heavy pack, and I couldn't find any place to tent, and I was just miserable. One of the reasons I did a 0 day. Anyway, let's talk about trying not to be so miserable. As soon as you get through hiking, as soon as you get to your tent site, the very first, or maybe even you come to a place they're doing trail magic, some of these different gaps. They do them a lot at the gaps and stuff like that. It's usually the trail crosses a hard paved surface road, sometimes a gravel surface road. But if you sit down and they're doing trail magic for you, one of the first things you want to do is put a puffy on.
Oh,
and this is so
comfy.
Right.
Oh my God. I'm in a warm hotel room and I'm wearing my puffy.
Right. And this is a lightweight puffy, but I have a heavyweight puffy too. You guys seen me in pictures in it before.
He's got some extra gear. We got to help him.
Yeah. But puffies, because when you stop hiking, your heat just goes away immediately. And I'm telling you, you generate a lot of heat, a lot of heat. But in miserable conditions like today, I ended up having to wear my rain jacket, and my rain jacket was enough to suffice. I mean, I had the thin long sleeve shirt, and I was able to pull that up and kind of ventilate a little bit. And this jacket sleeves are just enough so I could pull up. And that helped me also. When you hike with a rain jacket, you got to make sure you be able to get to the zipper and be able to ventilate, stuff like that, because you will get overheated with it, especially if you've got the hood up. Now, today was real light rain, kind of more of a mist, maybe a drizzle, but it was that wind that really made it tough and made it hard to get by that cold wind. But the day before yesterday, I was able to, there'll be a picture of the umbrella, deployed to my umbrella on the backpack later on. But this is a pretty cool umbrella. Wife's giving me a hard time because it's a $50 umbrella. And yeah, you can buy a real cheap one, and but this is made of Cuban fiber, very lightweight, and it straps you backpacks, very good.
Whoa, that is really lightweight.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
how much does that weigh?
I don't know, but
it looks like it weighs way more than it does.
But it was, man, it worked really good, kept the rain off on me. And so in heavier rains, I'm able to deploy this onto my strap. It makes a big world of difference to that pelting rain that's coming down. Keeps you right, because eventually on the trail, these raincoats will seep through, and you feel that cold, wet rain. It even doesn't seep. You feel that cold, wet rain on your outer part of your jacket, onto your shirt. It just makes me miserable. It did get cold enough. The wind today, as I was using these gloves, they're real thin gloves, but they stay dry and they're warm. So that helps out a lot too, to help you get through the day and just to kind of protect yourself and against elements and stuff like that. Last night I was so miserable, like I said, it was a mile from the shelter, but we got there so late, it's like, I don't know if we can make it to the shelter, so we decided to pitch a tent in this tent site, which is a mile from the shelter. Pretty nice little place. Some nice, huge pieces of fallen timber in there. It's just a cool little site, and didn't rain that much, but still my outer rain fly got soaking wet. So instead of packing up the rest of my tent, I just stuffed it in my backpack, an outer mesh area. So that kind of gives it a chance to dry a little bit, but not much. I mainly did it to separate it from the rest of my gear. We get here to Helen. Currently my tarp is outside drying. I was able to wash some stuff up in the sink. Donuts washed the socks in the sink. I washed the bottom part of my pants in the sink.
This hotel is so great. They give you a hiker rate of $45.
Yeah, you got to do what you can do sometimes. Yeah. But anyhow, speaking of getting wet, I told you I probably would never use this spray. I mean, I had, today the bottom part of my legs all the way down through here were mud covered. That's the reason I'd wash them off the sink. But typically I've been rolling my pants leg up to here, and I had mud caked all the way through here. So last night when I tried to get in my tent, or night before last when I tried, it was last night when I got in my tent, it was so much mud on there. It's like, I can't get in my sleeping bag with that. So what I ended up doing is spraying this. I told you about this already. It's a little bit too heavy. I should not have brought it, but it's more of a bedside care spray. And I was able to spray that on my leg and rub my leg down with a bandana. And I got all the filth of mud off of me, and I felt like I could get in my tent. Yes, I stink, and I'm not going to wash myself I just have to be comfortable with it. I cannot take that kind of bath every single night. Anyway, you can deal however you want to, but that's just the way I was doing it. So last night I was so exhausted from hiking all day long, I ended up eating a peanut butter. These are individual serving peanut butters.
So good.
Yeah, they're really good. And you can get a whole pound of peanut butter, but that's way too much weight to carry. You cannot carry a pound of peanut butter, whereas this is just a few ounces and stuff like that. I don't even see the ounces on it. So it's so small, we don't even have ounces on it. Anyhow, I had a peanut butter and honey sandwich, and it was a little honey packet, which I got from the hotel we stayed at 3 nights ago. And then I had one of the packets of tuna, which I showed you, the last video, and I put it on the tortilla shell, and that had 2 sandwiches for supper last night, and drank some water, and took my medication and went to bed. But in the morning, I go ahead and heat up some oatmeal, and 2 packets of oatmeal, and I have a cup of hot chocolate or probably some coffee, maybe both of them combined. So that just kind of gives you a little wake up boost in the morning, give you something warm, because you got to get out of your bag and start putting all your stuff. Yeah, and I wanted to talk to you about that. When you do that, sometimes you got to undress and dress in layers. I mean, you gotta do things that if you take your pants off, you immediately got to put your take your night gear off. And I have some sleeping thermals on. I have the 3 Dog thermals, which I told you about in my other YouTube video. And I have a shirt, a thermal shirt, and that's what I sleep in at night. It kind of helps the sleeping bag work well and stuff like that. So in the morning, you take off your top, and then you put on your hiking top. You take off your bottom thermal, and then you put on your hiking pants. So you kind of do that in layers. It don't make it as hard on you when it's so cold in the tent in the morning, like that. Of course, the hot chocolate helps, and oatmeal helps you warm it up, because it can be pretty frigid in the morning trying to get ready. So you get going on the trail, and you get some of these bars like these. This bar in particular, I keep sticking in my pocket first thing in the morning, because it warms it up. These are very hard and chewy, but this is whey protein with almond butter. And it's just it's a 220 calorie candy bar, but it's thin. And Jingle, that you've met already, gave me that, and he I thought it was a really cool thing.
It's like Gatorade. Does it have electrolytes in it?
Yeah, it has electrolytes in it. So it's a very that's what Hey guys, DudeMan here, hiking out of Unicoi Gap on Saturday the 14th. Oh, what a cold, wet, windy, miserable day. I do not like this kind of weather at all. I have got my rain jacket on. I do not have any rain pants on right now, but I have something special I really like. I think it's going to work out for me. So we're, as you can tell, the mountains are fogged in, and just kind of a cold, wet, miserable day. So check out on my photos, my umbrella that I deployed. It's a 6 Moons umbrella. It cost me $50, $40 for umbrella, $10 for the straps that goes along with it. But it's made out of Cuban fibers, extra light. So it's kind of cool. I like using it so far. It's keeping me pretty much dry. DudeMan Show out.